Let's bring in Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, chairman of the Judiciary Committee. I think they're getting ready there, if they can hear me, and former New Jersey Governor Tom Keane, who is chairing a task force on fighting extremism. Gentlemen, can you hear me there?
I can.
Okay, good to hear.
Can you hear, Tom?
I can hear, but not well.
Okay, let me start with Senator Graham.
I'll translate.
Okay. Senator Graham, can I just get a quick thought from you?
That's the problem.
Can I just get a quick thought from you, Senator Graham, about this national emergency vote? You're a lawyer. You've been a creature of the Senate. You understand all of these things. Can you understand that there are some Republican colleagues of yours who are objecting to this on principle?
Well, I don't want to criticize my colleagues, but as a lawyer, the president is on firm legal ground. This is a specific statute that allows the president to move money around for a national emergency. And here's what happened in 2014. President Obama declared a humanitarian crisis at the southern border because we apprehended 120,000 unaccompanied minors. We've already apprehended that many this year. Every problem at the border since 2014's got worse. I've been in every gang you can think of to solve the immigration problem, right? Starting with Bush 43. Not one time did a Democrat ever suggest to me that we didn't have a problem at the border. In 2013, we appropriated $44 billion for border security, $9 billion for barriers. What's manufactured is that it's not a crisis. So to my Republican colleagues, the statute in question is very specific and limited. The president has the legal authority. The only question is there really a crisis at our border? If you don't believe the president, go down there and check it out for yourself. But ask the people who are in charge of securing the border. They will tell you we have a crisis. I hope Republicans will hold.
All right. Well, we'll see. The president from the White House just issuing a veto threat. So if it does come his way, he will veto it, and you take it from there. Let's move on to why you two are standing together. Governor Keane, you're chairing a task force that is trying to deal with extremism. This is a bipartisan group, and you've come to some conclusions. What are the top lines for you?
What was the question?
Top lines of your report.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Top line is prevention. We're asking for a whole new approach. How we look at terrorism, how we look at states that are fragile and conflicted. And we think the first approach coming all through our government and outside it is prevention. And we've got a whole series of steps in the report, 3 major recommendations that we think should go through all the United States government agencies and be the United States policy from now on.
Senator Graham, we obviously need something like this. We were just talking about this woman from left Alabama. She goes to Syria. She marries an ISIS guy. Now she wants to come back. So in your report, do you think that there are ways that we could have prevented her from being radicalized and going there in the first place?
Yeah, number one, they recruit on the internet. The narrative that they're telling is a false narrative. Attack the narrative. Attack the underlying premise. But the point is, $5.9 trillion later, we've spent that much since 9/11. There are more terrorists today than there were on September the 11th. The military has done a great job of taking down terrorist networks. We've done a great job of protecting the homeland, but we've done a very poor job of getting to the root cause of the problem. So if you want to stop fighting an endless war, prevent it before it starts. The next endless war is going to be in Africa. Fragile states in Africa are about to collapse. More migration, more terrorism. So what Governor Keane and Lee Hamilton have come up with some of the experts of our time, is a preventive plan. So I'm a pretty hawkish guy. I don't mind killing the terrorists, that's part of it, but you're never going to win the war by killing terrorists. You have to give hope to people to reject this ideology, and getting ahead of it, we should be spending some of our money, but most of the money should come from other parts of the world. The Millennium Challenge Corporation under President Bush worked, where you don't give checks to dictators, you write checks to people in the country with transparency and performance goals. We're going to reform how we provide developmental aid. We're going to address extremism at its root cause so that these endless wars will end. It's long overdue, and I think this is right up Trump's alley in terms of a new way to do a business.
Maybe a last question then, if you could translate over to let him know what I'm saying. I'm just curious if you think that you have enough partners around the world that would spend this money wisely.
I hope we do. And I think we do. The important thing here is that we're not going in it alone. We're asking our allies and people who are also interested in stability and stamping out terrorism and all the other good things to join with us this time and come in a united approach that will be backed unanimously by the departments of the United States government with this bipartisan support and bicameral support of our legislature and a number of other countries to really look at ways we can go to prevent this, involving young people, involving women, involving a lot of other private sector, so that we can get rid of this terrorism once and for all so our children and our grandchildren don't have to deal with it.
All right. Well, Governor Keane, you're certainly a great example of a lifelong public servant. You keep coming back to help us figure things out. We appreciate that. And for Senator Graham, for you joining us today, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.